Well, good afternoon. I have been in the worst reading slump of my life for basically this entire year. I've decided I'm sick and tired of it, so we're gonna fix it, and we're gonna fix it today. I am here in my library that I love so very much. While it is already 1:10 in the afternoon, I'm doing a reading challenge today. My goal is I'd like to do 10 hours, but considering it's already 1, that takes me till 11. So we're doing at least 8 hours. I've already got the book that I'm starting with. I'm 30 pages into the first book, which is Peeps by Scott Westerfeld. There are over 1,200 books on these shelves right now, and probably only about 300 to 350 of them have been read, and that's if I'm being generous. I don't keep a book that I don't like. So if I finish reading a book but I'm not crazy about it, I won't keep it. I also DNF books like nobody's business. I try to give a book at least 50 pages, but if I'm not feeling it by that point, I'm letting it go. This is so bad. This is so bad. I've read 5 books this year. That is awful for me. That's awful for me. That's great for most people. I've DNF'd 2 books this year. Last year, I read 26, which was also pretty bad for me. I DNF'd 5 books last year. For comparison though, I read 41 books in 2024. I DNF'd 13 books. The last time that I read over 50 books in a year was 2023. And in 2023, I read 114 books. I have been a very strong reader basically my whole life, but recently it's life and lifes. It is August 6th when I'm filming this video. My goal is I would like to read 10 books this year. I just need to get 5 more and I'll be thrilled. With this challenge, it's mostly just I'm just reading. I'm here, I'm reading. I'm gonna update you hour by hour, kind of what's going on, how I'm doing. I am historically a pretty quick reader. But again, I'm not afraid to DNF. So far, I'm not planning to DNF this one. I'm liking this one so far. It is very much still warm outside. It is August in Georgia, but I did just buy this very cute ghost throw from Costco, and because it's August 6th, the bats came out today for Build-A-Bear, so I have my bat. So this is what we're working with. There are no vibes to this read, but this book is about vampires, so figure it's pretty fitting. Without further ado, let's get reading. It's 1:15. We got to get some ambiance on the TV. Very important. Okay. Ooh, charmed 1998 attic thunderstorm ambiance, witchy soundtrack. I am here for it. My favorite ambiance is sounding like you're on a train. Yeah, I'm a fan of this. Let's do this. 1:17. I'll see you in an hour. It has been an hour. It is 2:17. I am on page 139. I am very much enjoying this. I was curious kind of what direction the story was going to go in, kind of what our main story was going to be. Now I'm seeing where we're going, and I'm a fan. I'm enjoying it so far. Total page count here, 304, hour and a half if I keep up with this speed. Yeah, that should be it. So, next hour, here we go. It's now been another hour. It is currently 3:19. I did have to take 2 phone calls during this last hour, so I didn't get to read as much, but I'm on page 202. So happy with that so far, and I'm thinking this might be the last hour for it, because now I have just about 100 pages left. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm really curious to see where it's going. Right now I'm not sure it's a book that I'll keep, but it's a book that I'm definitely enjoying reading. Might take me a little bit over this next hour, because I do want to eat a late lunch soon, because I'm hungry. It is 4:07. I just finished the book. Overall, I did enjoy it. It's a very interesting take on vampires, and like it sees it more as like an actual disease, which I think is really fascinating. I will say, if you have any issues with kind of gross things like parasites, you will not like this book. Basically, every other chapter is kind of talking about different parasites that genuinely exist in the world, and some of the descriptions get decently graphic. I'm not bothered by that, so it doesn't bug me. No pun intended. I think it was unique. I think it's interesting, and I don't think I'll keep it, though. I'm glad I read it, but it won't stay on my shelves. So, let's see what's next. I will use my random number generator, but I'm gonna try to go for a standalone. So I'm gonna take this off. So current number is 1,267 books. Let's see what we've got. 377. Ah, the second death of Edie and Violet Bond. Okay, I do believe this is a standalone. Let me go grab it. So here it is. I did grab this one from Barnes & Noble. Looking like the font size is pretty big on this. Total page count is 361 pages is what we've got. So 17-year-old twins, they're powerful mediums, they're runaways, part of a tight-knit group of young women. Violet's act goes terribly wrong. Edie learns that the dark spirit responsible for their mother's death has crossed into the land of the living. I'm also a big fan of the, right here we've got like the herbs of death. I'm excited to get started with it. I'm gonna go and eat something super quick and I will be back. My plan is by 4:30. I'm back with ice cream. I didn't need it, but I wanted it. We need new vibes. Silence of the Lambs Killer House ambiance is not what I'm looking for. Ancient seaside bookshop cafe ambiance. Dark academia piano with rain. Yes. I'm a fan of this. It is 4:28. I'm about to set the timer for an hour. I do have a meeting at 6. It shouldn't take long at all, but something to keep in mind. I'm really hoping I'll love this one. That's been part of the issue this year is so many DNFs. I don't mind them overall because it gets books off my shelves, and also that means it might get to go to someone else who's gonna love it. But there's just something about being sucked into a book that you just absolutely adore that is just, I love that feeling. And the only book so far this year that I've really had that feeling for, and even then it wasn't until like later in the book, was The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I am gonna finish eating my ice cream first though. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so it is 5:39. I am 134 pages in, so making pretty good time. I'm enjoying it. I feel like there's been a lot of kind of, I don't want to say build up, but I feel like we've gotten a lot of, I don't even want to say backstory. I feel like it took us a while to get to the main event. For example, like the inciting incident didn't really happen until page 100. And for a 340 something page book, that's a long time to go. So I am enjoying it. I am not like in love with it. I'm glad it's a relatively quick read. So we're gonna dive in for another hour. Again, I do have that meeting at 6. I think I'm aiming to read until like 10:30, I think is the plan. Like I won't go any later than 10:30. 10 or 10:30 is kind of the plan. So then I think that'll put us at like a 9-ish hour reading challenge. I would love, and I think it's possible, to finish this one and then start a third, and depending on which book it is, make a decent crack into it. This is YA. It doesn't read as too much YA. Like sometimes young adult books read as very young adult. I'm not getting that vibe from this. I just wish the pacing was a little bit quicker. I'm gonna have the meeting that I will be listening to and speaking very briefly in, but I'll be reading for the rest of it. I think what's going to be really interesting is how you can see the light changing in all of these clips. Anyway, I had my meeting and then I was on the phone again for like 10 minutes. So I'm on page 191, not as far as I wanted to be, but I am over halfway through the, right about halfway. It is 6:44. We've got just under 4 hours left of reading. Definitely finishing this one will be no problem. And then it'll be a question of what's next and how far I can make it in that one. I'm still enjoying the way this one's going. We've picked up a little bit, but I am curious at just how much is left for 150 pages. I think my big thing with this one is going to be the pacing. I like the world. I like our characters. I'm not overly crazy about them, but I think right now it's just the pacing that's getting me a little bit. Not enough for me to stop reading, but I definitely think this will be one that I say could have been cut by about 75 pages. The lamp has come on. 359 pages later, 7:59 p.m. Overall, I enjoyed it. Again, pacing, major issue. Pacing was my number one thing. I think this easily could have been, again, 75 pages shorter, 100 if I'm being honest, but I think that's a little extreme, so I'll go with like 60 to 75. I did enjoy the characters. I just, again, I felt like the pacing really threw me off for a lot of it because I felt like I was just kind of waiting at the start, and then kind of right about when I knew where the story was going to go, I was going, we have so many pages left. But ultimately, I'm very happy with how it ended. I'm a big fan of how that ended. I think YA readers will really enjoy this. I also think if this is your style of story, so especially if you like historical, kind of like historical fiction, I say go for it. I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to necessarily like knock your socks off, but if you're looking for a good time and you really enjoy this style, then go for it. I'm feeling very accomplished. We've got 2.5 hours more of reading. So I will say, I do think this will be another book. I'm very glad I read it, but I don't think I'll be keeping it on my shelf. So this is another book that we're now going to take off. Okay, so we've got it right here. I'm going to go ahead and delete that row. So now when we go back to, it's the wrong thing. Now when we go back to the random number generator, it's now 1,266. So let's see. 597. Okay, let's see what that is. Ooh, that is a part of a series, so we're not going to do that. Typically, if I come across that, I'll start at the series, but I don't really want to be doing that long of a series right now. And the good news is that I can choose to read whatever I want. Okay, 236. Ooh, Gravemaidens. Okay, I believe this is also a standalone. Very excited. Let me go grab it. And for COO. There it is. Oh, this is a former library book. Gravemaidens, here we are. So this is clearly one I got at a library book sale. 3 chosen maidens, 2 sisters. When Alu's ruler falls deathly ill, Kamani's beautiful little sister is chosen as one of the 3 sacred maidens to join him in the afterlife. This is an honor and a tradition. But Kamani sees the selection for what it really is, and it's a death sentence. So she is desperate to save her sister. She sneaks her way into the palace to see if she can save her sister. So we are looking at 394 pages. So this very much will not be finished today. Hoping maybe to make it to about page 150 or so. That is if I don't DNF it. I will admit this is one I'm nervous about. Typically when I'm at library book sales, I will kind of just pick up, not to say anything that seems interesting, but usually these are like $1 or $2, and I'm always open to new reads and wanting to try new books. So a lot of library book sale stuff I end up sometimes DNFing. Sometimes I find my new favorite series. That has happened, and I love it when that happens. But I am very curious about this, especially because since it was at a library book sale, that means that the library decided to weed it. So that means it wasn't getting as many checkouts as it should be, or it didn't fit their selection policy anymore. Traditionally, I believe for public libraries like this one it would be that it's not getting a lot of checkouts. Of course, that could just be because of the cover. I like the cover, but I could see where people would kind of be like, what is happening here? Or it could be because people weren't a big fan. But either way, it is 8:06. Let's get started. I'll check in an hour. I'm on page 17 and I'm struggling. I'm trying to make sure it's not like that I already put this idea in my mind that I didn't think I'd like it, but I'm really not liking the dialogue. Kind of feels like it's written in a way that's like, oh, I have to write this specific way because my book takes place in a land that doesn't exist. You know what I mean? I'm just, yeah, it's not. And I know I'm only 17 pages in, but I don't like our main character right now. So right now, because I have time, you're just gonna sit and watch as I read this. This is the first time out of the entirety of today so far that I've been tempted to pick up my phone for a distraction because I'm just not super engaged, or I read something that I go, Ugh. I'm determined to at least make it to 50. I will make it to page 50 before I decide if I'm going to DNF. I really don't want to, but right now, especially for a book that's so long at $3.94, that's a lot. I did order pizza. Should I have done that? Probably not, but I wanted to. And the good news is that it's my life and I can do what I want. So, oh God. They're doing that thing where they're like, they don't call each other by name. They call each other like sister all the time, or like healer's daughter. And I'm not really understanding, because it doesn't, even in a world that's different than ours, it doesn't sound natural. Oh God. No. Okay, making it to page 50 is gonna be hard. Whew, this is a tough one. Oh God, I can't. Her shapely hips swinging. This is written by a woman. Spoiler, but it's not a spoiler, because if you pick this up, you'll know by page 20. And it's also written on the back what happens. The sister who's going to be chosen as one of the Gravemaidens, we've already established that she's beautiful. So I don't feel like we need the sentence, as Nenea and Dagon walked away, his back rippling with strength, her shapely hips swinging. I don't really think we need that, because we've already established both of those things. I might not make it to page 50. This one, it's just like enraging me, actually, which I hate. High fantasy is a little bit harder for me. Like being introduced to an entirely new world is sometimes not my thing. It's just not like my go-to genre, but that is not at all the reason that I'm not enjoying this. Wait. Is Nin her name? It's capitalized and then it's... okay. Knee-length hair. Damn. Well, my pizza's here, so we're gonna pause this. Be right back. New angle, because the light is fading. Did that pizza revitalize me? Yes. Will this lemonade do the same? Yes. Do I think it will be enough to help me get through 50 pages of this book? No, actually, I don't. But I want to be proven wrong. We're halfway there to 50 pages, and then I will probably let myself DNF, unfortunately. Already confused, because our main character has said she's the only one who doesn't like the idea of this, and now her best friend is saying the same thing? We literally just heard that 10 pages ago, that it's the opposite. Oh, wait, she doesn't? She doesn't? What is happening? I just feel like we've talked about the same idea like 6 times, just in case we didn't get it. Like, just in case you didn't get it, here it is again. We got it, I promise. She just called herself a dirty little rat. I can't. Oh, dear God. That could barely conceal her womanly curves. It's just so, I can't. I'm sorry, I'm done. 28 pages, I made it. 28 pages, I'm sorry. I am not a fan of the writing, the dialogue specifically. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves with any book ever, is dialogue. Same thing in movies, TV shows. If the dialogue is rough, I'm not there. If you are a fan of high fantasy and this sounds like you would like it, I think you should give it a try, because it very much may be your thing, especially if you don't really care about the dialogue. If the dialogue is like not your concern, then great. I think you'll enjoy this a lot. I will say too, out of the 3 books that I've DNF'd this year, that is the one I have DNF'd the quickest. Second one behind it was at 38 pages for actually very similar reason. That was also due to writing style and dialogue. And then the other one was called The Good Part, and that was 88 pages. But with that being said, the books read this year is officially up to 7, and let's go ahead and pick a different book to finish with. Oh, I didn't realize Peeps is technically a series. I am not going to be continuing with the series, so I'm not going to be on the hunt for the other ones. I don't pay a ton of attention to Goodreads ratings. So, Second Death of Edie and Violet Bond has 3.8 stars as an average. I would rate that about a 3.5 for me. Peeps sits at an average of 3.78, so about the same. And I'd probably rate this about the same for me too, about a 3.5. Gravemaidens sits at 3.4. And I would give that's a 1 star for me, unfortunately. Which, I can't say that. I can't rate it because I didn't finish it. So that's not right. So I can't rate that, but I DNF'd it. So that speaks for itself. We'll go ahead and get it off of the list. Okay, so that brings us down to 1,265. Number 875. Okay. What is 875? 875 is Neverworld Wake. Oh, yes. Okay, I love the cover of this one, and I've been staring at it for forever because it's been on my shelf for a while. I'm excited for this. This is another shorter one. Here it is, right in front of my face. Beautiful. This one got a paperback. It says, "The first thing you must do is stay calm. Panic will get you nowhere." So this is kind of YA. It's been a year since graduation. Beatrice Hartley is joining her friends at a weekend reunion, but after a night out, they narrowly avoid a collision with a car on a deserted road, or so they believe. They're staying at a mansion. A mysterious man knocks on the door. He tells them they must make a choice. One of them will live and the rest will die, and the decision must be unanimous. Soon, time backbends, and Beatrice and her friends are forced to repeat that dreadful day so many times they lose count. With each replay, events twist and fears come alive in horrifying ways. So this is like horror, like psychological thriller horror. I'm so stoked. I'm so stoked. 324 pages. I did decide I think I'll only be reading them till about 10, but we'll see if I stick with that, because if this ends up hooking me like I'm really, really hoping it will, I have such high hopes for this. I really don't want it to let me down. We've got to find the perfect ambiance for this. Mystery ambiance. Ooh, Victorian murder mystery. Agatha Christie. Shut up. Yes, Agatha Christie style living room ambiance. Count me in. Let's do this shit. It is 9 o'clock, exactly. Starting a timer right now for an hour, and I'm so excited. Please don't let me down. Set a timer for 1 hour.
1 hour, starting now.
I'll see you in an hour. It's 10 p.m. I'm 116 pages in, and I am loving this book. I was a little nervous at first with the timing of part 1, because with what's going on, they're stuck in a cycle, right? So there's a lot that's happening, but it's not necessarily pushing the plot. It's more character work. And I was concerned when that was starting, because I was like, oh no, is this going to be like a hot second of like no like plot movement? And while it kind of is, it works really, really well, because this is such an interesting situation to find yourself in. And like, so first of all, if you read this book and you're a fan of this, I need you to at some point watch or get your hands on seeing Ride the Cyclone, which is a musical. If you like Ride the Cyclone and that storyline, you will love the premise behind this book. I'm really enjoying the writing style. I'm really enjoying the dialogue and the characters, even though the vast majority of them are making insane decisions and I don't like them as people. I still want to keep learning about them. I want to keep knowing about them, and I want to see what happens. So I'm invested in them. And that is something that's honestly easier said than done, because creating characters that you're supposed to not like, you're supposed to dislike what they're doing, and yet want to keep reading about them is a very difficult thing to do. Now, in this case, our main character is not someone who I don't think she's making bad decisions at all. So that also helps. But it is pretty much an ensemble piece. So, but they've just opened the can of worms into why our main character went to meet up with them in the first place before all this happened. And so now we're getting into like, it's like a mystery because we're unraveling what happened that night because everyone is keeping a secret and our main character knows that. She knows that everyone is lying. For now, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. I would say overall, a very, very successful day of reading. My camera's also literally about to die. So 2 completed books, 1 DNF, which, you know, that's always a bummer. But the last one I'm absolutely loving. I think that's a major win. And what an awesome way to try and get out of my reading slump. I had a lot of fun with this. I don't know if, I was about to say, I don't know if this is a style of video that you want to watch, but at the same time, in all reality, I make videos more for me. So if I enjoy doing it, I'm just gonna keep doing it. So if you like it, great, stick around. But otherwise, I'm just gonna make them for myself. This has been so much fun. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed, and maybe you found a book that you would like to see or try in the future. Maybe you have it on your shelf and now you have been inspired to pick it up, or you're gonna go check out your library, or if you see it at a library book sale, I always recommend the library. Libraries are so incredibly important and so helpful, not just for books, for computers, for research, for movies, TV shows, like it's amazing. Please use your local library. They're absolutely incredible. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. All my social media is in the description. Love you all. Bye.